Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day and a good near end to the week. So let me just fix this. I don't know, a bit better. Maybe not. Anyways, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. We've got some news for you today. We saw S&P and NASDAQ hit new all-time highs yesterday. S&P more into the close, NASDAQ overnight. Not this overnight, but the overnight from yesterday. So I hope everyone is doing well with those incredible upside gains, bull market full force. And we saw a little slip here in to the start of this session into this morning. We're going to see S&P and NASDAQ open a decent bit below their overnight highs. So let's take a look around the world and see how the markets were doing. We saw in Asia, we saw Japan up nearly 1 percentage point, up 0.9%. Hong Kong down 0.5%. China down 0.6%, and India down 0.1%. In Europe, midday, we saw London up 0.6%. Paris nearly up 2%, 1.8%, and Frankfurt 1.2%. In terms of the U.S. futures, our friends, we saw the S&P down about 0.2%, NASDAQ down over 0.5%, 0.6%, and crude oil down a whopping 1.6%, down to around that 40.85 level when I was looking at this, but now it's down even more. So we're down 1.7, 1.8% on crude oil, while gold is down 0.3%. And today we've got some decent news coming out. This morning we saw MBA mortgage applications, Challenger job cut report, jobless claims in the AM at 8:30, goods and services trade, productivity and costs. And then 9:45 into the US session, we're going to see PMI composite final. We'll see ISM service index at 10. 10:30, we got EIA natural gas inventory. 12 at noon, we got Fed Bostic speaking on the economic outlook. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. At 1 p.m., we got Fed's Evans on the U.S. monetary policy. And then 4:30, we got the Fed's balance sheet and money supply. So it could be some nice market movers into the close of the day. As we saw yesterday, pretty impressive rally on that close. Now, traders also look to set a pair. Traders look to set to pair the robust gains seen on Wall Street this week after a rally lifted the Dow Jones above 29,000. We saw Trump already tweeting about it for the first time since February. So some signs of profit taking are already coming into names like Apple and Tesla. After the split, we saw a pretty significant pop, and now we're getting a decline in those asset prices due to a lot of profit taking. We're going to see profit taking across the board, it seems, especially on assets like Zoom. We saw Zoom skyrocket off those earnings, and now it's tumbling back down. A lot of profit taking. So Apple fell 2% on Wednesday. Tesla fell nearly 6% on Wednesday, though the losses only curbed significant year-to-date gains on each of the stocks. So Tesla's about 30% off its all-time high. Actually, here, if we pull this up, I'll give you a more exact number, even using the pre-market data. So let me just type that in. Let me look at symbol Tesla and give you a more accurate representation of where it's at. So from the high, 540, most recent high, we're down about 23% from that high, trading pre-market about 415. So on the economic calendar reports today include the jobless claims, which you saw this morning, July's trade balance, revisions to Q2 productivity and labor costs, and ISM non-manufacturing. And tomorrow we got really important data. We have the non-farm numbers out of the States. So in the morning, we're going to be trading that with a room. It's going to be a pretty decent size mover if we get a strong deviation from the expected. So in terms of more COVID news, prepare for a COVID-19 vaccine to be ready by November 1st. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention declared, notifying the public health officials in all 50 states and 5 large cities to prepare for distribution. So technical specifications were given to 2 candidates dubbed vaccine A and vaccine B. So, including requirements for shipping, mixing, storage, and administration. The details appear to match vaccines being developed by Pfizer and partner BioNTech, as well as Moderna, which both require 2 shots 28 days apart. So, Pfizer has also stated publicly that it is on track to seek an emergency use not as early as next month, being October. Wow. So the Congressional Budget Office projects a federal budget deficit of $3.3 trillion in 2020, more than triple that of 2019 shortfall, mostly from the economic disruption caused by COVID-19 and the pandemic, and the ensuing legislative response. In the fiscal year that began on October 1st, federal debt held by the American public is also projected to reach or exceed 100% of the US GDP for the first time since World War II. Wow. So that would put the US in an extensive club of nations, including Japan, Greece, Italy, which all have debt loads that exceed their economies. If we move across the world, leading gains across Europe, France CAC 40 climbed 2% as the country unveiled a 100 billion euro dose of stimulus to get the economy moving again. So GDP contracted about 14% following the pandemic-induced lockdowns in Q2, and the France relaunch plan will narrow in on boosting supply and encouraging investment, as well as wage subsidies and a 10 billion euro tax cut for the industry production next year. So it's not the only news boosting European equities this morning. Over in Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel's ruling bloc backed plans allowing for extraordinary deficit spending in 2021. So to continue with Europe, several European nations, including UK, France, and Italy, have gone ahead with implementing digital service taxes, DST, on big tech as negotiations with the US fell apart months ago. As the new taxes come into force, US tech giants have responded by passing on some of the costs. Apple has announced it will be raising charges for developers on the local app stores, while Google is increasing fees for all ads bought in UK, and Amazon is upping costs for third-party sellers by 2%. So the 118 mostly China-based apps are prejudicial to sovereignty and integrity of India, as well as security and public order. This is what the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology said in a statement. So it follows multiple rounds of high-level military talks with Beijing that failed to end the recent standoff over the two nations' disruption over the border. So included in the bans are versions of Tencent's popular game PUBG. So very popular here in Canada too. I got a lot of friends that play that. And Xiaomi's ShareSave and Baidu's apps and Ant Group's Alipay. Is that right? Yeah, Alipay, sorry. So in terms of other tech news here, Netflix. So Netflix has recently signed a production deal with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, after they stepped away from the British royal family and moved to California. So they have a multi-year agreement to produce a nature series, documentaries, and children's programming. However, Markle, who most recently starred in Suits, will not be acting. The deal is a piece of a piece with one Netflix struck with former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle, which established a slate of programming the Obamas would produce for the streaming giant. So kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm not really into the reality stuff. But I don't know. Drop a comment. Who's gonna watch this if it comes out with the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle thing? Interesting. Netflix has been struggling. A lot of those streaming services. My hair is actually insane right now. The streaming services have been struggling with creating content, especially throughout this pandemic. So this could be a boost A lot of people may be looking for that, but a lot of people are more pleased with sports being back on and kind of deviating away from those streaming services. If you guys are interested in that new content, let us know. It's getting difficult for people to produce more content on these streaming platforms. So we'll see in the coming months how Netflix and Disney Plus, whatever it is, come to terms with this content stagnation. So when it comes to SPACs, SPACs on a mature unicorn hunt, Bill Ackman's perishing Square Tontine Holdings has been rebuffed by Airbnb, according to a Bloomberg report. So Pershing Square Tontine, I can't even say it, 6 weeks ago raised a SPAC order of $4 billion in an IPO. So other possibilities for Ackman, perhaps a Bumble, which he said to be prepping for an IPO in about $6 to $8 billion valuation range, or Robinhood, which recently raised $200 million at $11.2 billion valuation, and has massively shaken up the brokerage industry. So yeah, Elliot, honestly, I don't really watch that stuff anyways. But hey, it could be more content for Netflix. A lot of people may like it. Who knows? Or it may just be complete bust. So I hope everyone is doing well. I will be jumping in the room today. Someone asked, hello, everyone. Maybe someone knows ETF on VIX 2 times for short and ETF on gold 2 times for short. I don't know any ETFs that are double the leverage. You maybe Google it. If you're just looking to short it, maybe just short the ETFs like GLD or the VIX. But 2 times, might have to do some research for that one. Hope everyone has a great day. We're going to be jumping in the room with our TradePro community and looking for some next best trades. I see market 310,000 contracts. September starting to ramp up. So we're going to see some movement today. I'm excited for that. We got a pretty significant sell-off overnight in the S&P 500, the market which I predominantly trade, and we got a nice little sell-off in gold. So let's see what these assets do. I'll be watching for a little more downside potentially this morning. We could see ourselves into that 35, 55 prior highs, and we'll see what we do from there. So having said that, guys, thank you, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.